Me and my wife know we are cheating on each other. We figured it out by accident. I left my phone on the counter. She saw a text come in from someone, and instead of getting upset, she just went quiet. That kind of quiet that isn't anger. It's something else. Something that takes you a second to recognize because you're not expecting it. It was relief. She sat me down that night and said she needed to tell me something first, before I explained anything, before I got to say a single word. She needed to go first. She'd been seeing someone for 7 months, a coworker, someone she'd known for 2 years before anything happened. She said it started slow, the way these things do when you're not looking for them. Lunches that ran long, conversations that had no business going as deep as they did. She said she kept telling herself it was nothing, that she was just lonely, that every marriage has dry spells, and this was just hers, but it didn't stop. She said she'd been trying to figure out how to leave without destroying everything we built together. The house, the dog, her relationship with my mom, who I'm pretty sure loves her more than she loves me. The life we'd constructed over 9 years that looked, from the outside, completely fine. That was the word she used, fine. She said our marriage had been fine for a long time, and fine wasn't enough anymore. I didn't say anything for a long time. The dog was just sitting there between us looking back and forth like he was watching a tennis match. Then I told her about mine. I'd been seeing someone for about 4 months, someone I met through a friend at a work event. We weren't supposed to be anything. I wasn't looking. I hadn't even been unhappy enough to put a name to it yet. But she asked me questions that my wife hadn't asked me in years. Not because my wife didn't care. I don't think that's it. I think we just stopped being curious about each other somewhere along the way. Stopped asking. Stopped expecting new answers. This other person made me feel like the conversation wasn't over. Like there was still more to find out about me. That sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but it's the truest thing I know how to say about it. We didn't cry. We didn't fight. We just sat there on the kitchen floor with the dog between us, kind of laughing at how insane it was that we'd both been carrying this at the exact same time, under the same roof, sleeping in the same bed, saying good morning and good night, and passing each other in the hallway with all of it tucked completely out of sight. She asked me if I was happy. I asked her the same thing. Neither of us had been. Not really. Not in years. And saying it out loud, finally, to each other, was one of the strangest feelings I've ever had. Like setting something heavy down that you'd been holding so long you forgot your arms were tired. We ordered takeout, Thai food, which we never did because she always said it was too spicy and I always let her decide. We talked until 2 in the morning the way we hadn't talked in maybe 3 years, about what went wrong, about when things shifted, about the specific moment, if we could even find it, when we stopped being honest about what we needed. We couldn't find one moment. That's the thing nobody tells you. It's never one moment. It's 1,000 tiny decisions to say nothing, to let it go, to not start the conversation because you already know it's going to be hard and you're tired and there's always tomorrow. There wasn't a villain in the room. That's what made it so strange. Nobody had done this to the other person. We'd both done it together slowly by becoming 2 people who were better at being roommates than partners. We were good roommates, genuinely. We never fought about dishes. We split the bills clean. We made each other laugh, still, even at the end. But we'd been letting each other down quietly for so long that neither of us could remember what it felt like when we weren't. She said she was sorry. I said I was sorry too, and we meant it. Just not in the way that meant we were going to stop. We talked about the people we'd been seeing. Not in detail, not cruelly, but honestly. She told me what she liked about him. I told her what it felt like to be asked real questions again. It wasn't a painful conversation. It was almost gentle, like we were finally giving each other permission to want things, which is maybe what we should have done years ago instead of letting it quietly rot. It didn't feel like failure anymore. That's the part I keep coming back to. I thought admitting the marriage was over would feel like the worst thing. I thought I'd feel it in my chest like something breaking. But sitting there on that kitchen floor at 1 in the morning with cold takeout containers between us, I just felt honest. Maybe for the first time in longer than I want to admit. We called a mediator the next morning. We'd both had the same thought overnight, separately, in the same house, and neither of us had to convince the other. We split everything down the middle. The house goes on the market. She gets the big furniture. I get the car. We keep joint custody of the dog because that wasn't even a question. Not a single argument. 9 years and not one argument on the way out. I think that says everything about who we are to each other, and maybe something about who we should have stayed being instead of becoming whatever this last few years turned into. The person who texted me that night, I'm meeting her for dinner tomorrow, and my wife is the one who told me to go.